Leute, ich freue mich, euch auf unserer entspannten Saunabühne hier an Halle 8 bei der Gamescom begrüßen zu dürfen. Ich darf mal wieder ein paar Gäste hier empfangen und es ist ein Termin, auf den ich mich sehr gefreut habe, denn Kollegen von Devolver sind da, die mehrere Spiele dazugepackt haben. And now I'm gonna switch to English. Now that I've introduced what we want to do here, I just said you're the guys from Devolver, and could you introduce yourselves first?
My name is Alex, and I'm the artist of a game called Mother Russia Bleeds, published by Devolver, as you just said. And I don't know, I'm just here to talk with you, I guess.
Yeah, that's what's in the description. Just talking, we see what we can do otherwise.
Okay, so, you want
I'll try to
me
spice
to talk
it up.
about...
I would like to say that I'm Tadeusz, and I'm from Flying Wild Hawk, which is a company that is being published by Devolver, and I work on Shadow Warrior 2. I'm a PR, marketing, and a little of just a snippet of design. And I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
From the late, great Roddy Piper. Big quote. Was a great movie, They Live. That was from.
Loved it.
Also, but everybody from, I think, age group where I come from, where you come from, you should love this movie. Otherwise, you're not allowed here on Gamescom.
No, definitely.
So let's start a bit about to talk about. Of course, both games kind of have in common that they have, let's say, a knack for violence.
Yeah.
Violence is kind of the theme of both games. Mother Russia Bleeds. I had seen some of the game, some gameplay a while ago. I'm a big fan of old school. How they're called, beat 'em ups. Yeah, you have your final fights, your Streets of Rages, run around, punch people in the face, and then hamburgers fly out that you can eat something. But this is a little bit of kind of different take on it. Yes.
Sure. The base is old-fashioned beat 'em up, like you just say. Streets of Rage is maybe one of the most famous, and but with a modern twist in the gameplay and the graphics. The idea was to make a game with this old spirit of beat 'em up, of 2D beat 'em up, because we had the great ones last years, like Scott Pilgrim, even Castle Crashers, but I think we lost this old spirit. Double Dragon Final Fight as a common point with this violence and ambient and dark environments and stuff.
But compared, of course, to the old games you mentioned, they were violent, but they weren't as violent as Mother Russia Bleeds looks to be. But first, you're from France, yeah?
Sure, we're from Paris.
You're from Paris, so and you're also a French guy, or are you Russian?
No, we are just three French dudes.
So let me ask you, what do French guys know about Mother Russia?
Actually, we had to learn a lot.
Okay, you watch the tapes.
Yeah, no, Fred, the game designer who had the first idea to make this game, learned Russian language at school and went to Russia once and lived something he really liked and has been shocked by the poverty in his neighbor. So he just had the idea to put the scene of Mother Russia Bleeds in Russia, and I'm a designer. I worked in arts for a while now, and when he said Russia, I immediately thought about USSR and
you thought the Kremlin, then the heads with the fur on that,
sure.
and Gorbachev dancing, and all
and
this,
this propaganda, red and gold, the hammer and stuff. So I was really into the idea of change this classic US backgrounds in old beat 'em up into this old USSR and cold and violent environment, but it's totally alternate. We have to say that.
I think that's the important thing to say it. Of course, dear Russian people, Yeah, when we're seeing a game like this. This is not an accurate portrayal how the streets in Russia are nowadays. That's not Moscow live.
Absolutely not.
But what happened in this alternate universe that something like this could occur?
What? I didn't get it.
What happened in the alternate history that this year happened? So why is the world like this?
Game? Yeah. Okay, in this USSR, the government is really corrupted by the Bratva, the kind of Russian mafia, and you played those 4 characters like gypsies who survive in their camp by street fighting, and one day the Bratva come in your camp and kidnap you for use you as cobayes for drug tests. And you have to escape from your jail and learn what is in your blood now, because you're addicted of this new drug, and you obviously want a revenge.
So this drug obviously, and it's as what I've taken from the trailers, was that you also consume drugs to power yourself up. Give yourself a little bit of an edge there as kind of a power up. That they get to be very violent. They try to punch each other to the death.
The thing is, this drug can be used in 2 ways. You can use it for healing yourself, or you can use it, as we just saw, to go in berserk mode and smash everybody and launch fatality attacks like Mortal Kombat stuff.
So now, I see a punch, also bloody.
Yeah, Mother Chablis. So
but of course, that fits the tone of the game. Did you have to research what kind of drug would do like this, or is it just we always wanted to invent this special drug that we just put in the game?
I never heard about this kind of drug. Maybe you do.
Yeah, I don't know.
There is one. Crocodile.
Exactly.
Crazy Russian drug.
Exactly.
That basically dissolves your body.
That's the thing. I don't know. What is it? Cleaning fluid and something. And then your arm falls off.
It's wicked. And actually, I'm coming from Eastern Europe, and that's not far from
That's not far from the street you grew up.
Not entirely, but I would say that like 50 years ago, you might have found places maybe not that hardcore, but still bad things happened in Eastern Europe. I'm not talking just Russia; it's all over.
Actually, when I designed the camp, the first level, I put a picture on Twitter, and a guy said, obviously laughing, that looks like my neighbor. So it was kind of fun, because that was the idea.
Actually, when we are talking about violence in your game, it is over the top, but the graphical style, like the whole environment, that's actually pretty close to what I remember from the old days.
Every background has been based on pictures we found. It's never totally free, but we still kept freedom to make a game just fun and don't be so too constrained to do something really realistic. So that's why we have a level in a nightclub with pretty totally out of realistic stuff. But every architecture or every nature in the wild nature and stuff has been based on pictures.
As a stylized pixel game with loads of violence, with a heavy electronic soundtrack, of course, and a game coming from Devolver, there will be comparisons to Hotline Miami, which was one of the most outstanding indie games that came along in the past years. And of course, everybody was reminded of Hotline Miami watching this. There's actually a connection, as far as I know, between this game being at Devolver and Hotline Miami.
Yeah, a really close connection, because the thing is, Fred, who launched the project, played Hotline Miami, as I do, and just thought those guys just made an awesome game, and they were just 2 or 3 really small team. So he just thought, maybe I can do it. So he just contacted me. Actually, we just met at a barbecue, something totally random. And it just has this idea of an old-fashioned beat-em up, pixel art and stuff, inspired by Hotline Miami. Actually, the game is Street of Rage cross Hotline Miami.
That's not a bad label to put on.
And actually, when everybody on the internet talk about our game, they said that Street of Rage slash Hotline Miami. So after a few days, Dennis Wedin from Hotline Miami heard about our project. He supported us and he talked to Devolver, his publisher, about us. And Devolver contacted us, and the deal was made a few months later.
Yeah, it's great. That's just so recommendation, especially of people you kind of look up to, probably. Say, they did it in a way that everybody would like to do it. That's one of the greatest endorsements there can be, and I'm actually really looking forward to playing it. I have to think. I'm already looking for speedrun strategies, because we tend in our station to do speedruns of such old school beat 'em ups. Let's see if we can beat it under an hour and everything, and try all of the stuff that's out there. Since you're the main designer, it's not only backgrounds, it's everything in the game that you do.
I'm the only artist. We're just 3 to make this game.
So that's all from your twisted mind, primarily what violence you can
no, actually, I'm the whole game is from one head, Fred, because I wanted the game to be really how can I say that in English? I don't want the graphic doesn't match with the story, or one vision for every part of the game. Yeah, consistency. He handled the programmation with Florian Renaud, our programmer. He handled Slow, our composer. Fred is the head who the project came from. So I just learned to adapt my skills and arts to his mind.
So it was never the question, because, as you said, one vision, consistency, that in past years in Germany, always, especially in video games, there was talk about violence. Is this too much violence? Is this too realistic? Of course, that's what we see in the game here. Not realistic at all, so to speak. Well, it's so over the top. It's consistent, but it's not really realistic.
It depends what you called realistic. I didn't want, for example, some cartoon FX, like Bing Bam with stars and stuff.
Of course, not
because
quite.
Because I wanted something cinematographic. I don't know if it's exists in English. This word, okay. And I had, for example, some motion blur on the characters when they move. Some things like that, or lens flare on the camera, or some things like that are supposed to make the game not too old school and not too cartoonesque or something like that. But it's still pixel art, so I don't think you can really be traumatized.
I think that's one thing. It works both ways. If I think back to Hotline Miami, it's very simple, stylized with the pixel art. But then you're running around the top-down levels there, and you see all the corpses splayed out with the blood splatter. It has kind of a different effect there. It's not violent per se compared to realistic stuff.
Yeah, the feelings from a project like that could be really intense, but I don't think it's really dangerous to play this game about this violence.
What was your favorite move to animate in this game? So did you say, oh, I had something, I made it so over the top, or there was so much blood I had it animated? You love a special kind of move. Is there something? Would you say this is my special move?
I like the taunts in this game because it was really fun to do. Every character has a different taunt, and I like to do this kind of totally fun stuff. It's not really serious, so I like to see my characters doing some really funny stuff.
Yeah, is there already? I think it's very soon. It's coming out early September, I think. Yeah,
in a couple of weeks now. September the 5th on PC, Mac, Linux, and few time later for PS4.
Yeah, well, definitely. I have a retro show on our channel, so a retro styling show, especially to show off these kinds of games, and this will be a big topic.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
When it's out there. Talking about violent stuff. So, Shadow Warrior. Let's talk a little bit about it.
Bling bling.
Bling bling.
Yeah, bling bling.
Bling,
We are
bling.
coming with the bling this time.
You have the Eastern European heritage, so you know about violence.
Well, we are also as far on the other side of the spectrum of making indie video games from these guys as possible. So we are 120 people. The game is not a pixel art, but it's as equally violent, and also it takes from the old days. It takes from the old games, like of course Doom, like original Shadow Warrior, like the Redux that we made. We are trying to kind of tap into that old school gameplay oriented kind of
that was a thing, especially if you think back. Germany is primarily a PC country, so even if a lot of people play consoles nowadays here as well, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, the big stuff was on PC computers. And I still remember being in school, and then when school's out, let's fire up Doom. Let's play stuff like this. And there were a lot of games, especially an early Shadow Warrior, that was remade a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Was it an actual remake, or was it
2013?
2013, a reimagining, so to speak.
Redux, or it was reimagining. That's the best way of putting it. So the story behind it is that we first made Hard Reset. Our company, Flying Wild, made the game called Hard Reset. It was also a gameplay-oriented old school shooter, pretty much like the horde of enemies running at you have to kill them all. Robots, by the way.
Natural, of course.
So we are contacted by Devolver, who owned the Shadow Warrior franchise, and they asked us to make a game. So we made. It was actually really well received by the public, by the people. Although not many people really knew that it was published. So right now, still it's sold well enough that we had a chance to do it again, and right now we are doing it in a slightly different way. So the first one was a classic linear corridor shooter. This time we went for a more of an open area game. So it's not open world, it's open area with action RPG elements. So you will have a bit of a Diablo approach, or Diablo Borderlands approach to the game. You will gather upgrades for your weapons. The weapons are pre-produced. We have more than 70 weapons. They're all created by our team, but you can slot them with different upgrades that will change the way that the weapons work, and that sometimes it's a drastic change. Like you can, for example, drop your gun and it will work as a turret. And besides that, still we are keeping the same silly story with a lot of adult humor, and by adult I mean like super serious. So there is a lot of jokes about dicks in the game.
What was the main character?
Well, the hero is called Lo Wang, and actually that means a little Wang.
Yeah.
So there you go. We couldn't stray from the original.
I think he has to compensate with long swords and other stuff.
I think there is a joke like that in the
Probably.
in the game. There is something like that in the game.
Actually, this morning I think I heard a guy just said Shadow Warrior is about a ninja who made jokes about sex.
It's gore and dicks. Yeah, that's true.
That's also a good box quote.
I think we can put it on the.
It's Gore and Dicks 2015.
Or I have an idea that will be the name for the first DLC.
That would be awesome. It would be fantastic to
Gore
put it
and
there.
Dicks. More Gore and Dicks.
Yeah, I think for people who discovered Shadow Warrior with Redux, with the 2013 game, they must have felt that there has to be some kind of this old school heritage. It's not, of course, exactly the same thing as it was with Duke Nukem, because that was one of the iconic 90s characters that got reimagined, so to speak, in a not so good game.
That's what I wanted to say. I didn't want to pick on Duke Nukem Forever, but still I think we did a better job than Duke Nukem did.
Well, whatever Duke Nukem Forever was, it wasn't a good game.
Yeah, that's one of our dreams. We are frequently we are asked about what game we would like to make. So Blood, Duke Nukem, and we would be surprised another part of Deus Ex, because of Hard Reset and all the cyberpunkish vibe in it. And actually, you'll see it in a video in a second. We'll move to another area that we have. This one is in an ancient setting, and also there is another one which is cyber setting, and it's basically a homage to Hard Reset.
I have to think 2013, when people played the game, of course, noticed a bit more of the humorous side to the storyline, especially in times where shooters tend to be more, here, not to use the word realistic again, but let's say that the Call of Duties, the Battlefields,
they are trying to be kind of realistic. You can't be a realistic shooter when you have a hero that kills 120,000 people.
I think a game like this, and now with the sequel with Shadow Warrior 2, I think that the time is ripe a bit to try different approaches to shooters, because Modern Warfare isn't modern anymore. Modern Warfare is 10 years ago. So you can't just use this as a fresh thing. Almost the older stuff is now fresher again, or the older feeling stuff.
That's like, we're super happy about Doom coming this year, because they paved the way for the old school gameplay-oriented games. And actually, my problem with the modern shooters is that, again, you can't have a cool experience when, first of all, it's a shooting galley, second of all, it's completely devoid of any realism in a proper sense, because, you can have a really realistic graphics and weapons, but at the end of the way, you are a one-man army killing thousands of enemies. It makes sense when you are a Doom Marine or when you are low rank. That makes perfect sense when you are a low rank. It doesn't necessarily make sense when you're a Delta Force operative who suddenly turns into Rambo. So I'm pretty happy that Doom came out before us, and I'm pretty happy about this game because I'm still having a lot of fun with it, even though I work on it. So people who work on games, they don't necessarily.
I think that's the key.
They don't necessarily like the games. Like after 2 years of making something, you are so tired with it that you want to do anything but that. I'm still having fun with what we made, and I think still think that it's a cool gameplay-oriented game.
Yeah, I think people should be or go with a bit more open mind to this game, because you talked about Doom. That was quite a big surprise, you have to say it like this. Like this game turned out, I expected not super much from the single player. To loaded up Doom and had the time of my life, so to speak. It was one of the best games of the year, but it showed the people it's a bit of an other side. You can be a bit old school, but you can modernize these things. You can have some humor in there in special kind of ways, but not be revolve everything around it. And maybe the people will be who even didn't take the first Shadow Warrior in, the Redux in, to try this stuff. Also, gameplay-wise, for people who haven't played the Shadow Warriors games, we see there's a mixture. You have shooting, but of course you have then the swords.
You have
lots
blades.
of swords.
And right now, not only swords, we also have chainsaws. And actually, why not have both? So we have also chainsaw katanas, and it's one of there you go. That's actually a chainsaw katana right on the screen. So it's just heap of fun when you have this, procedural gore system. I know that will be actually a tough subject in Germany. That's my main problem.
But it's demons here. So most probably.
Unfortunately, there are some human enemies as well. So
just say it's demons.
It's demons, of course. There are demonic yakuzas. Actually, that's not far from true. Because it is a world which is mixed. It's a mixture of a human world and a demonic world. So everything got warped. Everything got kind of twisted. You can see that we have demons. We have cyber enemies. We have demonic people. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And of course, as you said, we have a lot of melee weapons. And our system, we got a lot of praise for fighting system at for the first part of Shadow Warrior. I actually had a unique chance of showing that game to, I think the name is Jason Van Der. The guy who made Red Steel.
Jason Vanderberg.
There you go.
The guy with the hair and the cane.
Yeah, and everybody knows him. So he saw that game at E3, and he said that we nailed the controls on the joypad. So I don't know if you can get a better praise for doing a good melee system than a praise from the guy who made probably the best melee system in video games so far. You will have a mixture of both. You will have melee weapons. You will have guns, as I said before, 70 plus right now, but they all are kind of unique. So you will have, of course, you won't use all of them because nobody will. Well, maybe somebody, but usually you tend to stick to 4 guns, 4 weapon types. So, because as I said, there is more than just Yes.
Just a thing about the melee weapon. Isn't there a Metal Gear Solid game with a katana?
Yeah,
it was
Metal Gear
supposed to be
Rising.
really
Metal Gear Rising. That
precise.
was a great game too.
Actually, our procedural system is kind of a tribute to what happened in Rising. There is another game which had also procedural cutting. It's Afro Samurai, and that was actually my favorite game so far when it comes to cutting stuff off. Until I played Shadow Warrior, and it's surprising because it's not even a third-person perspective game, and still you have the cool, slicing and dicing.
You said you have not an open world with the levels here. You went for more open, structured levels. So is it kind of? Do you have something like objectives to fulfill there, or is it kind of this is the goal? Do this kind of stuff so the goal opens?
You will have objectives. Sometimes you will have just to pick some stuff on the level. Sometimes you will have to talk with somebody and then do a mission for them. So yeah, it's completely objective based. Still, you can do the objectives in any order you wish. So you could just go straight into this city and finish the objectives here, and then go back to the first setting to do the objectives there. You can port back to your hub. You can select another mission and try doing another mission. There will be main quest, which will be roughly like 8 to 10 hours, and then we'll have side quest. And also we want to have actually we are working on that already. In one of the first DLCs, not in the first DLC, we want to have the bounty mission system, so it will be kind of a never-ending supply of missions. You'll just have a randomly generated missions. Our levels are actually randomly generated. So when you load into a level, each time when you load into that demo, it will be slightly different. It will look slightly different. You will have a different placement, of course, of the enemies, of the objectives, but also the level is taken from a pool. So sometimes you can hit, I don't know, like a level with a castle. Sometimes it can be a level with a castle, but instead of a castle, you have a mine. So there is a lot of changing aspects to the levels.
That's kind of an unusual approach. Procedurally,
not procedurally, randomized. Not procedural. Procedural is a bad word because everybody thinks of one game which just had a big experience with procedures, and also usually people connect procedural stuff to something chaotic, and we wanted to maintain the creative control on how the game looks and how the randomized stuff acts. So it's not unlimited. It's not like you will always get a different level. When you play the game, I don't know, for 600 hours, probably you will hit the same setup of a level. But it's really there is so many factors in it that it's not that easy.
Yeah, so it's more to individualize it.
And you can meet other people, and that's like I'm not saying it. Like, you actually can play that game with other people, up to 4 players. It's co-op, drop in, drop out.
So, but if it's a co-op, does it mean you have AI when there's nobody else around to play it?
No. You play alone. Everybody plays as Loank when you look at
there are more enemies then, or how does it
of
work?
course they get scaled. They have different abilities. We didn't want to go into the bullet sponge direction only. So there will be some enemies which will be bullet sponges because they have to be this core. But around them there will be more like weaker enemies that you can kill faster, not just by shooting them for 5 minutes. Still, they will have different abilities, and they will be a chore to.
How far along are you? When can we expect?
So we are launching pretty soon. Actually,
but you first. So that's
as first. What's your release date?
The PC is coming at the end of September, and the consoles, like those guys, slightly later. But they will come at the beginning of 2017, early 2017.
Okay, that's
so
good to hear.
But again, PCs first, because we are a PC company. We originated from PCs. Like Germany, Poland was also always a PC country, so we have that in common. So yeah, expect it coming really, really soon.
Okay, yeah. So if I have you here to finish this up, Lo Wang, do you have a favorite dick joke?
Have you? Do we do
we can do it. Yeah.
My favorite dick joke, I would say, a bush in a hand is worth a wang in a hand is worth 2 in a bush. That's one of my favorite. And also, when you mess with the bull, you get the wang. And let's open at least. You don't have to eat it. I already told you because he was eating them for the whole day.
We have ritual fortune Shadow Warrior 2 fortune cookies. Are the dick jokes in there? Let's see.
I just had one yesterday who just say, "Your mom say hi."
Okay.
Can't eat anymore this.
So let's see. Let's open it up.
Okay, I have a rude joke. You?
Okay, so. Oh, okay. I have more the video game related one. Thank you, but your fortune is another cookie.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, of course.
My mom still say hi.
Your mom still says hi, and my
I don't know what happens
and
with
mine
me.
says for rectal use only.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe my favorite.
I think that's not a better way to end this. So
I think it's a perfect way to end it, considering the level of humor in our game.
Yeah. So thank you both for taking your time.
Thank you.
Looking forward to both Mother Russia Bleeds and to Shadow Warrior 2.
Our pleasure.
And let's eat it up.